Let's go. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Two Dumb Dogs. Sorry, it's been a while. How are we doing, Greg?
Alive, 10 fingers, 10 toes.
Alive and well. It's awesome to be back. Awesome to be back. So, yeah, Greg, you noticed my background in the last 4 months. I have not been sitting on my hands. I have been tweaking around on the computer. I got myself a professional microphone here. I messed around and got some software for the camera so I can mess around and I'm not as an orange Oompa Loompa or a white ghost anymore. So yeah, how are things with you, brother? Is
It's
life
been uh
well?
it's been roller coaster, up and down, everything and anything, and then nothing. Right? Then come the boring days that you're still like your adrenaline is still up to your neck, and then nothing happens all day, and you're disappointed that you couldn't enjoy the day because you were ready for whatever was about to pop off that didn't happen. But life is what it is, man. Been
How's
doing
that a bad thing? So you're
I
saying you're being prepared for stuff and then it doesn't happen, so then you're
Yeah. And then you have blood in your diarrhea at the end of the day because of the stress. So fuck that. I'd rather have nothing happen for no reason.
brother. I know, brother. Like I mean, it's been great for me. I mean, like I've been missing doing the podcast with you just like so I can unload on a weekly basis. Like not having this in my schedule, like time's kind of just like flown by, if you know what I mean. Like not having this appointment to sit and talk with you. It's been, yeah. I mean, I've been busy as fuck too. Like, yeah, we got a lot's changed in the last 6 months for me. So, yeah, where we ended off last, I was just getting serious with Sammy, and you had just gotten done with the stuff with Bernadette's ex after he punched you in the
Yeah,
face
man, so
and
much has happened
apologized
since
and paid
then.
for a bike.
Yeah, so much has happened since that. And one day I will discuss all that drama, but I need permission first in order to do that because
Oh.
lots and lot because people are listening and they have opinions about how I feel. And you know what? I don't need that kind of anxiety right now.
Mm, gotcha. Gotcha, brother. Gotcha. So what can you talk about then? Because I haven't even gotten to talk. We've talked maybe like once a month. We've gotten to
Well,
catch up.
I mean, nothing really like is wrong with me or with my schedule or anything. I mean, it's been kind of repetitive. Go to
Hmm.
work, go home, go to my girlfriend's house, have my son, walk the dog. It's just I've gotten. I guess the word is complacent, but I don't mean it in the negative way that it
Is there a
means. I
smile
mean
on your
like
face? I mean, like, I understand
better.
what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about. Like this before this last 2 months, yeah, I was getting into that routine where like yeah, I'd go to work, come home, spend an hour cleaning around the house, then get the kids into bed and then wind down and then finally get to spend an hour with my girlfriend and then we go to bed and then we wake up in the morning and we get an hour before the kids wake up, then we get one ready for school and then we get the other one ready for basically her nap. Because it's like it's a chore to get her ready in the morning so that she like expels enough energy and isn't a little fucking cunt. Pardon my language, but you know how it
No,
can
it's
be.
kids,
Yeah,
man. It's fucking kids.
kids
Okay,
don't
I
care
got
about your
one
feelings most
now.
of the time.
Now that the brain juices are flowing, I got a story that
Oh,
recently
okay.
happened, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it because everything I'm about to say feels bizarre, and my decision making process that I got to that point was equally bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, about a week ago, I decided to, after work, just leave town.
Yeah.
I got on the bus and I left town, and the plan was to go to Würzburg. Right, it's a 2 hour
Birchburg.
thing. I figured that I could just sleep at the train station, just hang out all night in Würzburg because I really love that town. But it's a little bit of ways. With a train, it's about 3 hours away.
Okay, so
We get
for our listeners, like 3 hours, what's that in kilometers?
well, if you take a car, it's 1.5. Okay, it's 1.5 hours because it's around 100, 110 kilometers away from here. It's not that far away. But
Okay,
having said
about
that,
50
with the trains,
miles.
yeah, you stop in Nuremberg, you stop in all the villages until you get to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I get to Nuremberg and you're waiting on the next train to connect you, and it just shows everywhere canceled, canceled, canceled. So
Oh.
I'm still in my work uniform. By the way, I just decided that I can't take life anymore, and I'm going. I'm just gonna do
Hmm.
this, and immediately the world was like, "Nah, train's canceled." So I see the train back home, and it's coming in over an hour. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get something to eat, do whatever." So I walk into town, into Nuremberg, and as you walk into the center area of Nuremberg, there's a bunch of Irish pubs, right? I haven't had any alcohol in many, many years, and that's why I don't go to pubs anymore, bars, whatever. But I was already in such a spontaneous movement. I was like, "Fuck it!" I hear karaoke. I'm going in there.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna eat a shepherd's pie, and I'm gonna drink tea, like the teetotaler that I've become. And I did that. I go in there, and uh, I hear the music, and I'm like, okay, there's karaoke going on. I'm going to participate. Why not? And I ordered food. I talked to the guy a little bit. Obviously, the owner was Irish, and we talked about Galway and County Clare and County Mayo and the western part of Ireland, which I have a lot of knowledge over. And we talked about hurling, which is a very Irish sport that they're super religious about. I have some knowledge about it. I made this guy really happy with this conversation. And I asked him, I want to go next on karaoke. And he says, "Oh, you're going to have to wait maybe an hour." And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I have to point out that even though this is an Irish bar, they were singing Bruno Mars and Mariah Carey and Taylor Swift and
Right.
shit that's not Irish. Okay?
Yeah.
Shit that's just not Irish.
Because
And in
if
that
you
moment,
look, they don't make a lot of karaoke videos for Irish songs. I've tried.
well, the way it was set up was weird because it wasn't like a video game or anything like that. He just had a screen up and he could pick any song from his laptop and I could do it
Oh,
with
like
the
on
soundtrack
YouTube?
in the background. I guess if it was, I don't know if it was YouTube. It didn't look like it. It looked more like LimeWire, if I'm being honest. But I didn't ask. I didn't care. I
Did
said
all of the
plain Irish.
videos look similar, like as far as the font and the colors? Or were
Yes.
they okay? So that might be similar to what I use. I use an app called carafun.com.
Okay.
It's purple, but it's basically an app that has like over 4,000 videos. And if your video's not on there, you can vote for it. And after it gets like 100 or 1,000 votes, they'll put it on there. And it's like $10 a month.
Okay. Okay.
I love
So,
it. The girls love it too. It's real fun.
all right. Well, I know more about
Yeah,
the scenario.
yeah.
So here comes the part that again I was trying to go
Oh,
to
we're
a
not
completely
sponsored by
different.
Carafun. We just use it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. All right. So you're not singing Irish songs.
Okay, so it's my turn, and I told the guy I'm going Irish. Okay, I don't give a shit. Give me Fields of Athenry, and he goes, "Really?"
No words.
And I go, "We're in an Irish bar. I'm going to sing Fields of Athenry." So I start singing the song. This is where I knew I may have made a mistake, or I guess I felt weird because the bar's energy changed when I started doing that. One, people got quiet. They weren't really clapping or singing along anymore. And the only people that were actually vibing was the bartender and the other Irish people in the back because they knew
It's
every
like
word that and they were
finally.
singing. Yeah. Right. So it's over. I'm enjoying it. People like, I got like 3 claps like that. Right. And then I was over. And the guy, as I'm leaving, the guy's like, "Look, I love that song, but that was the wrong energy." And I said, "This is an Irish bar. What are you talking about? There should be only Irish music." He says, "Yeah, but none of these people are Irish, so they do whatever they want." And then you
Yeah.
come in with the actual Irish and it didn't fit. And I was like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation.
I think that's why
In
I
a,
never get a second song on karaoke either. I usually always pick depressing songs.
I'm in the wrong city, in a bar, not drinking alcohol, singing the wrong music. That's how that one night went. That's literally how that night went.
Damn. Yeah. Sounds like you got shut down, brother. Fuck.
I laughed. I laughed because he was laughing. He thought they were all singing. They loved the music because it's Irish music, and I went
Uh-huh.
for it. And I'm gonna do it again in an Irish pub because that's where it belongs. Okay, don't you dare bring no fucking Mariah Carey to whiskey in a jar. Like, how dare you?
Ah, come
But
on,
I'm getting,
brother. It's
I'm
free
getting ahead of.
love. It's free love. That's what the Irish are good at.
That's
There's so
where
many
I
of them.
went. That's where I went. That's what I did, and that's what happened. Okay, that's exactly how that shit
Yeah.
happened.
But you got to realize that's what the Irish do best. They assimilate.
Yeah, by procreating and making
Yeah,
more of them.
exactly.
There's, dude, there's the it was. He said something around the lines of there's like 7 million Irish people in England, and we only have four at back home. And I said,
Yeah.
there's 50 million of you in America. What are
Yeah.
you talking about, England?
Yeah. No, that's a running joke with an Irish comedian
You
on a dry
export
bar.
people more than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like less than 25% of the people that claim to have Irish descent actually live in Ireland.
Yeah. And only 2% of the people that live in Ireland are actually redheads. So the redhead stereotype isn't as accurate as
No.
one tends to believe.
No,
In
it's just the
fact,
pastiness.
there's more redheads in the Netherlands than there is in Ireland, statistically speaking. Though I don't know who walked around counting redheads like one,
Well, it wasn't
two.
hard.
What
You
do
could have
you
just
do?
went to the church. You could have just
You
went to
just
the church, opened the doors while everybody was praying, and just went one, two, three, four, five. All right, let's go down the street to the Baptist.
holy crap! Oh, I can't wait to go back to Ireland. I love that country. I just wish it was sunny there.
Mm-hmm.
The sun never shines in
Oh,
Ireland. It's
dude, yeah.
beautiful there when the sun shines. It's gray, foggy,
Mm-hmm.
cold all the time.
Well, yeah. That I
Oh,
guess I I would love to go to Ireland after visiting like Egypt. Like, let's go to a dry place and then go there, and then you can really appreciate the wetness. Because like
uh,
when I went to Washington, man, it was straight up twilight, like fucking depressing amount of rain. Like everything was beautiful when it was wet, but it was just like, fuck, you can't do anything. You can't play sports. Everything gets wet, and it's just like, ugh, it's cold, but it didn't snow. But yeah, man,
yeah, it's one thing when it's cold. It's another thing entirely when it's cold and wet.
yeah,
All right, that is a different kind of animal that's
it's
just
just like when it's
incredibly
hot
painful.
and wet, it's just nasty.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
also horrible.
Yeah, it's because
Now that I
your
think about
body,
it.
your skin can't regulate. It's because you're basically wearing a wetsuit. You know, your clothes don't work as well whenever it's wet. But yeah,
All
man,
right.
this year has been full of travel. I'm glad that you're getting out. So, have you decided to not take David on any more trips unless he asks?
Okay, so the Berlin thing. I was over the summer while we were not recording, ladies and gentlemen, I went to Berlin. I think we spoke about that prior.
Yeah.
And my biggest fears came true when I went with this devil child to the capital of this country. We did have fun. I can't completely be 100% negative. In fact, we had one day where it was awesome, but he spent a lot of time making everything about that trip incredibly difficult.
Extra.
He didn't find any joy in anything that I did, which one, it made me angry because I spent a lot of money to put him in this kind of environment. And two, it broke my heart for the exact same reason. So I was dealing with a lot of fucked up emotions that you shouldn't be feeling when you're on the other side of the country with an 11-year-old. And I more or less, like in my own way, also played a role in making our trip difficult as possible. And I regret that a little bit,
Yeah.
but I was so relieved to get home. I was so relieved to get home. I was like, oh my God. He told the guy we got the Airbnb from that he didn't like it. And I'm standing
I
there,
hear
just
you,
the most
brother.
awkward feeling. Dude, my asshole clenched so hard. Okay, I couldn't poop for like 4 days, man. It hurt me so bad that he did that. embarrassing me and shaming me after I spent so much money on that motherfucker. He lost
Mm-hmm.
my debit card in the not the grocery store, the fucking souvenir shop. He goes in there because we got those stupid electric scooters that you got to drive around, and you're supposed to only park them. It won't shut off unless you're parked in a designated area. And he just randomly gets off of his and goes into the souvenir shop because he wants to get stuff. So I'm outside the store waiting for him to come back. And in the 20 minutes he went in this very tiny store by himself, he manages to lose my debit card. I was going to murder this kid in front of 10 million people. I was going to murder this child in front of 10 million fucking people.
All right, say it louder.
Oh, oh.
No, we get you.
The best part about this story is we get home or I bring him to his mom. Relief and anxiety is leaving my body. And he goes on to tell his mother this story that he had the best time ever in Berlin. It's the greatest city ever, and he had so much fun with me.
Awesome. Brownie points.
I'm getting angry all over again just telling the story. I'm getting angry, like I could feel it in my heart. The rage, the rage.
Dude.
Oh, oh, God damn it. Oh, the things we do for our children.
Fuck, brother. No, I'm getting a heavy dose of that with these new kids that I've adopted, basically.
I cannot wait
This
for my child's
9-year-old. Dude,
9 year old. What?
the 9-year-old Paisley fucking we've had she's been giving us ups and downs, brother. Like at first I thought it was gonna be easy. She's complacent, she's submissive, she does what you tell her to when if she can focus enough. But it's just been screen times. Like we can't tell her to do more than two things at a time, or she gets confused or just forgets about it. As soon as she gets in front of a screen, she just goes zombie mode, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like I've
Yeah, the
told her,
electronics is killing us all.
yeah, and it's just to the point, like even whenever she's watching TV, she's watching people play video games. I'm just like, what the
I
hell?
do that too now. I used to think that that was the dumbest fucking thing ever. But for me, from my perspective, I've seen every movie on Disney and Prime and Netflix.
I
And
know.
if I can't afford the video game, I go and watch somebody else play it. And it's like watching a 14-hour movie.
I try to understand it. Like I'm sitting here, like reflecting. I'm like, okay, is this like? Because I remember how our parents treated us about video games. They acted like it was fucking satanic and stuff. Like just like you're wasting your life. You're not gonna do anything.
Listen, we can't tell them that they were right. We can never tell them that they were right because I can't even imagine what the generation after these kids is going to look like because they are zombified already by this electronics. Who knows what the next one's going to look like? The chip in the brain, the screen, like in
Like I mean,
Wally.
I feel like I was on both sides of that with the video games, and like I'm resigned to the fact that it video games belong in the category of recreational activities. Like
Well, you invest in it like you would any other recreational activity. It's a hobby.
as an adult,
Well,
yeah. I mean, I try and count myself like I can't I wouldn't spend any more on video gaming than I would on alcohol and like going out to do karaoke. It's a form of entertainment, and and as long as you treat it like that, it should be. But it's like when you're an adult and you're staying up till 2 a.m. and you got to be at work at 7 a.m. That's not responsible. It's not responsible. If you're not streaming and building some kind of business off of your gaming, then it's a hobby. But it's like
yeah.
these kids, like they have so much free time. Like, dude, she's not getting sent home with any homework. Like they got us fucking. She's coming home with a $1,000 iPad that she's not allowed to download anything on, but yet has everything that shouldn't be playing on, like
Mm.
YouTube, Minecraft, any kind of games and all that. But it's like she doesn't have any homework to do. So like what's the purpose of bringing this home? Why can't you just have a power strip in the fucking in the classroom for all the kids to plug their shit up. It's like why you gotta put charge the kid with the responsibility of toting it back and forth to school when most of these kids ride their bikes or walk, you know, and
Mhm.
it's like, what happens if it breaks? I'm not buying another one.
Well, the world has become digital in more ways than one.
But
It seems that everything.
it's and I understand that. I understand the benefit of using an iPad versus having to order workbooks and then the kid messes up and then well they don't have another page or you hope that the teacher can go photocopy another copy of the page so they can try again. I understand the benefits of being digital versus like yeah, it saves the schools a lot of money and it's efficient and everything, but it's also you're forcing the parents to accept that level of liability,
Mm,
you know, because there's no alternative. There's no like, okay, can she just use one? Can she just go get one whenever she comes into school and she returns it at the end of the day? It's like, I mean, there might be that option, but it hasn't been made aware to me. So like, we need to go to the PTA meetings and stuff like that. But for me,
dude,
it's just
my
like
uh,
we caught her at the doctor's office. She was told to leave the iPad in the car. She shouldn't have even brought it with her, but we picked her up from school to take her to the doctor early.
yep.
And then while she was waiting in the waiting room, her mother caught her in the bathroom with the iPad. Yeah. I'm just
Okay, so
and I've
logic and
caught her in the
reason goes out the window.
yeah. It's like living with a drug addict. Like she's in there. She might as well be in there with a spoon and a lighter. You know, it's just like that's what I'm seeing, the behavior. I'm like, I understand it because I'm like, I don't want her to do the same thing with us because I feel negatively whenever I'm sitting here doom scrolling whenever I don't have anything to do. Like when I'm waiting to go to work, I'll turn the YouTube on and I'll just be flicking through until it's time to go. And like it's not beneficial. Like it was bad with TikTok. TikTok I felt was more addictive. At least with YouTube, the algorithm isn't as narrowed, so it's not giving me all the stuff that's like grabbing my attention. Like for some reason, I don't get any more comedians on my feed rarely. Like I just get clips from Joe Rogan. I'm like, where the fuck is the stand-up comic clips? Like I want to see that
Okay.
shit. Like, you know.
I
But
got
yeah.
I got three categories, and all of my YouTube knows exactly. It's just somehow what to do. It's basketball, soccer, and history, and it just feeds me all that in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it combines those two, like this
Mhm.
documentary on a basketball player from the 1960s. What the fuck was his name? Oh God, Bill Russell. I watched that. It was a historical thing about basketball. Dude won 11 trophies for Boston back in his day, and it's got records that will never be beaten.
Yeah. Nice. But yeah, and I mean it's the thing, it's like I don't know, I'm just trying to curb these habits with her. I've resigned to the role that I'm gonna have to be
Asshole.
I'm gonna have to be the bad cop,
Yeah,
you
you have
know.
to be an asshole
But I
about
mean
it. I
the
know.
benefit is that they recognize it. They didn't get it with their other father. Um Big news that Sammy is happy to for me to share is that her divorce is finalized as of last Thursday. So it's been 3 days.
That was quick.
Yeah, it took about 2 months. We had to revise the paperwork, and
Wow.
she had to write a will and testament for the kids. So like, even if she dies, he doesn't get the kids unless he's sober.
Well, it took me years to get divorced, so congrats to her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it all worked out, man. Like I've been going back to church, dude. So like, I don't want to like talk all religious and everything, but it's like some people call it luck, but like it just feels like I've been blessed this last year has been nothing but a blessing, brother. Like
Okay.
I mean shit that I can talk is like I mean I could talk some shit about my sister and my nephew, but we'll save that.
They're still in North Dakota? Are they staying
Yeah, they're
permanently in
still
North Dakota?
here. They're still here. Um they're taking over an apartment. Well, they were in my apartment, and then they got to move downstairs, so they don't have to. And they got a second bedroom, and they've been as far as I know, they paid the rent last month. Well, I gave them $100, and They should be ready this month to pay by themselves. Finally got a job at Walmart. Whoop-de-doo.
He got a job. He got a job. He
Yeah, he
gonna
got
get
a
the
job.
money.
Yeah,
He
he
got
got
a
a
job.
job. But I took the car away from him because he took it because like I gave him the car for like a month and it, he didn't get a job or anything. The only application I felt like he put in was at Walmart. Like
What
I
you
don't
got?
Yeah, after he changed some stuff, he had to finally accept that he would be a cashier. And now
Oh,
then they called him immediately. But I don't know. It's just the fact
well,
that his job is 7 miles away versus 7/10 of a mile away, and he's gonna have to work full 8 hour shifts, and he doesn't have a vehicle. He's not on insurance. My Kathy, my mother is living next door to them, and like that's just the worst influence I feel right now. Like they've been borrowing her car to go to work instead of asking me for a vehicle. Like, bro, I've got 7 vehicles sitting out in my driveway right now.
what?
Yeah, it
You have
got bad, bro.
7
It got bad.
cars?
So like you remember I've been telling you that I've been going, oh no, I've been going to
Oh my
auctions recently.
God.
So there's this car auction that happens every 2 weeks down the road, and they've been going for dirt cheap. You know me, like I like to fix things and I like a good deal. So like it was right up my road. I bought a 2005 Ford Explorer for $500. The only thing wrong with it is that it was a base model and it had like 219,000 miles. But it came from a dealership. I'm assuming it was a trade-in and they didn't want to sell it or it sat on the lot too long. It was two-wheel drive, but it was clean. Everything worked on it. The only thing I did, I put 2 new tires on it and a rim because it was sitting on a donut. Okay,
We're
so
talking about one of the 7 cars right now, right?
well, I no, this car is gone because I've already sold it. Because I took it back
Okay.
from them because Sammy was about to start going to work, and I'm like, well, there's no reason that they should be having the nicer car with AC and everything while they're sitting on their ass at home while my girlfriend's starting to go back to work so that she can make money. So I was going to swap the vehicles with them. And then I got the hair up my ass. I'm like, let's see how much I could get for this vehicle. And I posted it. And then, like, bam, my phone was blowing up and I sold it for 1,500. So I made a profit on that. I made like a $500 profit on that. Then I'm like, well, let's see what we can do. And I went back to the dealership or to the auction. And then I bought 2 more. I was looking to get a bigger vehicle to replace Sammy's, but they were going for too high. I only had like 2 grand to play with down there. But I ended up buying two silver cars for like $450 each. And
Why are these cars so cheap?
because they're like well there's different kinds of situations like people move and then they're just like I can't take this car with me so I'll store it at the auction, you guys sell it, and if like usually they sell for at least $500, so then they'll get $500 while they're gone and they don't have to worry about selling it or dealing because it's a headache selling a car online because you got to deal with like 40 people before you finally get someone serious that's going to come and meet you with cash in their hand.
Okay.
You gotta vet through all these calls and texts and everything that people can't even just pay attention. Like I say text only and then they're calling me. I'm like, dude, I'm not answering your fucking phone call because then I'm not gonna remember the conversation. I'm not gonna know. I gotta remember 10 phone numbers that have called me in the same day about the same item. So like it is kind of a headache, but if you're willing to deal with it, then you can make money. Like I made $500. Like it sold in 3 days. And then these other cars, it takes a little while because it takes about like 10 days to get the title. Because they gotta mail the title to you after the auction and everything. So I was waiting on the title, and then they keep having small little problems. So like I kind of bit the dust on these two, but I can still get $1,000 for a minimum because they're running and they're not gonna overheat. So that's good enough. And they got new tires on them. I could sell them pretty quick. And then this last auction, I went and I bought 2 fucking expeditions, 2 big ass SUVs. I bought one because we liked it, and then the other one they went for 1,400. I mean, it was a full size truck for
The
fourteen
the
hundred
the
dollars.
the
Like minimum, they sell for 3 grand.
okay. if I'm trying to compartmentalize what I'm currently hearing from you
Okay.
and what it's doing to me, because you just told me that you own 7 cars,
Yeah.
right? I haven't owned a car in like 5 years now because I don't need a car in
Well,
my
and
life,
if you
in my
include the
environment,
motorcycle.
and a motorcycle. I cannot, I just, it boggles my mind how different our lives have become. Like, wow,
Well,
you and I
yeah, I
have
mean, well,
very
but
different
technically, I've
issues
got
in life.
six of those seven vehicles are for sale right now. No, five of them. I got
You're
two cars,
very,
the Nissan, the Expedition, and my Z is currently for sale.
when you talk, you sound very ambitious when it comes to trying to make coin.
Hmm.
And I commend you for that. I just don't have that kind of mentality personally. I'm not really trying to make, I know it sounds stupid, but making money isn't my number one priority in life. I'm just trying to be alive, if that makes any sense. So spending the
Yeah,
time
I
with
understand
my
that. I
kid.
understand that, but and that's what people see at the face value of it is that it's money. But what if you dig a little bit deeper into the onion, what I'm actually doing is each time I buy one of these cars for $400 and I sell it for $1,000, that's a credit card paid off.
Maybe, but don't you have to put money into the vehicle in order it to be at value at 1,000? Or are you just
Exactly.
like,
But to give you some confidence, okay, so the way the auction goes is it opens at 9:30. The auction doesn't start until 12. You have basically 2 weeks. They post them online with the VIN numbers and the mileage and photos, and you can do your research at home. Like I go on the Blue Book value, I get the value of the vehicle for like what the minimum that it's selling for. And I'm like, okay, if it's selling for 3 grand, my top dollar is 50%. I'm not gonna pay more than $1,500 for that car. And then I go to the auction, I get 2 hours to check out the vehicles. I got a little scanner so I can communicate with the computer of the vehicle. I can get all the data from it. I can check, make sure everything that's broken on it, and I can make an evaluation. Okay, so essentially for me, it's gambling. It's going to the casino. I'm going and I'm seeing which game do I want to play? Do I want to play with AC? Do I want to play with cooling problems? Do I want to play with suspension problems? And because like yeah, me like as much as I
is this
fought
like
it,
written down and you can like look at it and be like, okay, so this particular item has this and this and this issue? Or is this a guessing game?
it is kind of like a guessing game in the sense that you're taking a gamble. Okay, obviously they sold these vehicles for a reason. Most of the time it's because they're high mileage. The 90% of them are up at the 200,000 miles. So that's 400 kilometers, 400,000
Yeah,
kilometers.
yeah.
Okay. Most
That's a car that is.
manufacturers like just like the average lifespan, like so most vehicles in America, they either give you the gas mileage or they give you the size of the tank so that you get 300 miles per fill up. Per if you
Mhm.
fill your tank up, you should get around 300 miles to 660 kilometers before you're empty.
Yes. Yep.
Either you get 22 miles per gallon, you get a 15-gallon tank, or you get 10 miles to the gallon, you get a 30-gallon tank. You know.
Just for a side note, just for boring information, the way we read our fuel is a little bit different here in Germany. When they talk about how they decipher how much the fuel intake of a vehicle is, they say something around the lines of, for every 100 kilometers, I use 1.5 liters, 3 liters,
Okay.
9 liters. And if it's like a Hummer,
So
it's
we
fucking.
Well, yeah, we use miles per gallon. That's not very far off. That's okay. So so instead of for ours, it would be our gallon is the static variable. The gallon, the amount of fuel never changes how much you're measuring. We're
Uh-huh.
measuring how many miles we get. You're measuring how many liters you burn in the set amount of distance. So it's kind of just the
Okay.
reverse. It's not different, you know.
No, it's not different, but it sounds like way
For
the way
you,
the math
like
works.
that makes it probably easier to calculate your monthly budget that way
And
because
this
you can
is
go through how much gallons you go.
this is also another thing that I've noticed about, I guess, the metric system. When they talk about things, there's never a wild number, right? Okay, so just since we got to compare the two, a gallon of gas is 3.87 liters. That is a odd number. That
Yeah.
isn't a number that somebody would
Oh, yeah.
normally come to.
Yeah,
But
it's
when you stay in the system and you don't like compare it to a different one, what I end up seeing in the system is that there's always like a decimal, 1.1 liter, 1.5 liter, 2.2 liters, 2.8 liters. It's always that it always rounds up from 0 to 1 and 5, I guess,
yeah.
right? The halfway mark. It's never, like I just said, 3.87%.
1.27.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never anything like that over here. None of those numbers acute that. There's only one thing that I really see that I guess is universal. When you go into like a grocery store and the prices for things are 3.99 for some reason. I will never understand why something is 3.99. Just make it €4, you fucks. Why are
Because
you doing this to me?
that is a mentalist thing. Okay, so whenever you get into the world of marketing, you'll discover how easy humans can be manipulated, brother. Like just seeing the color red incites a feeling of danger and hunger. That's why McDonald's colors are red. That's why
Because we're angry and hungry.
yeah, because if you're angry, usually it's because you're hungry, and if you're hungry, you're angry. You know, but it's like that's what
Oh man.
I've noticed that like listening to a bunch of psychologists and like the people that study this stuff. It's like if you treat yourself like a lab rat, you can get so much stuff done. Like if you actually just like it's all about positive reinforcement. You know, like I just got back from church today and it's just like the message was like right on the nose. It's just like I have the ability to do all things, but not all things will benefit me. You know, everything is
Okay.
lawful to me, but it will not benefit me. You know, it's just like that's the duality of free will. It's like, and that's what
Yeah, you got to be
discipline is.
responsible with it.
You
Otherwise, you end
have
up
to
in
be
jail.
responsible with it. Just because I can have a beer and not go crazy, you know, doesn't mean that everybody can. So I need to
Mm.
accept that free will and use it responsibly. Just because I can do it and that's doesn't mean that that's how it's always going to happen and stuff
You
like that.
know, you know when somebody took their freedom way too far when you go into a bathroom and you see a sign where it says "Don't pee on yourself," and you have to think, what situation occurred for this sign to exist?
All right, but getting back on the subject of the auction, we went off on the metric system there and then got on to shit about discipline. But
Is
it's
what we
like
do.
so the auction, so yes, essentially you are taking a gamble. I mean, you're going in there with your knowledge. A lot of these people own the cheap car salesmen, like the buy here, pay here stuff, where they sell used vehicles like about 50% of their lifespan. You know, the ones
Okay.
that the respected dealerships won't take.
Mhm.
So they'll buy the leftovers from the dealership. And that's basically what I'm doing is like you can go and you can like some people like old people will put their shit in there instead of using the newspapers and like you'll get a grandma car that like is perfectly fine. It's 20 years old, you know, and it's got some miles on it, but it's everything works on it. It doesn't have anything fancy in it, but it's like a Buick, you know. And that's kind of what I went with the two cars. I bought me a Chevy Impala that I thought that anybody that does drugs will buy up immediately because that's the demographic that buys those cars, you know. So I'm like, as long as it doesn't
Hey,
overheat and it fucking runs, they'll be happy with it, you know.
I got a question about this auction. Hold on.
Okay.
when the auction starts, does the guy go, "Hey,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Dude, I caught him like every time he takes a breath, he sounds like a fucking toad. He's like 25, 25, dude, 25, 25, 25, 25, 50, 50, 50, 50, 30. But it's hilarious. But yeah. No, dude, like, and a couple times, man, I thought that dude was fucking, he was being biased, dude. So like I'm bidding on a vehicle and nobody else is bidding on it. Like I'm the only one bidding on it. And he's fucking taking like 45 seconds before he finally fucking like hits the buzzer. All right, last call, last call. And then finally somebody wakes up and gets in and then it goes up three times. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is rigged. And then the last time I know it's rigged because the SUVs that I bought at the last auction, the person that was bidding from me owned the motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
some shady shit. Yeah,
so
Gavin's
you
gonna have
just
some shit to say about that. Whenever this drops. Yeah, fucking no. Like he was like it was the 2012 one that I'm having problems with. Um, at first it was going for like $900. I'm like, fuck, I'd be stupid not to buy it. Like the tires alone are worth 500. And then the dude that owns one of the dealerships down the road, I usually don't bid with him because like he's got the money, so I'm like it's whatever.
yeah, he can do
And then
whatever
he
he
comes
wants.
over and he's just like, mm. And then it raises up to like 1,600, and then he goes out, and then I get the bill of sale after the auction, and then his fucking company's right on there. I'm like, you motherfucker, you dirty little bitch, you got me for like another $400. And then I'm finding out there's a bunch of electrical problems with it. Like there's a sensor problem. So that's so
Oh my
but
god.
yeah, so that's the gamble you run into. So I mean, but basically I got a week and a half to sit here and try and fix them before I get the title. And I'm using my credit cards. So it's long like I buy the car for 1,500, I put like $500 into it fixing these problems, and then I win 2 grand, and then I sell it for like 3,500, and that's 1,500. Or even if I want to make a minimum of $500 profit. I'm not gonna be greedy. $500, it's not a lot of work. It's keeping me busy. I like doing it. I'm ordering the parts
How much is
online.
your how much I don't know if we should be talking about this to the whole world, but how much is like your rents? Like I thought the idea would be if this passive income can pay rent, I'm doing everything right in theory. Or am I overthinking this?
Yeah, I mean essentially like yeah, if I get better at it, like I've been going to the auction every 2 weeks, I've been learning and absorbing like fucking treating it like you're going to the casino. Like you want to like it's a game. It's a gamble because it's like yeah, like there'll be like a 2020 F-150 with only 60,000 miles on it. And that just screams red flags. Why is it at an auction? Why can't you see that should sell instantly?
Well, for you in that situation, I guess with your experience, you could see that. My dumbass would be like, "It's only doing the money. I got that, but let's do it
Yeah.
now."
So like
Woo!
that's why it's
They're waiting for
important to
my
get in
dumbass.
there and test the vehicles out, turn them on. Like I bring a code reader and I read any codes to see like what those lights are on the dash. You make sure it goes in reverse, make sure it goes into drive, check the tires, and you got to assess the value there. And then whenever it gets to auction, you got to hope that nobody else wants it, or you like you get a sheet of paper with all the cars, the year, the make, the model, the VIN number, and the mileage, and you can go through the list. It's usually about 80 cars every auction. And like what I've been doing is I just go through it, car one, car two, car three. I go through them. I'm like I wrote down their values the night before. So like I'm like, all right, a Honda Civic 2005. It's got 200,000 miles on it. KBB says it's worth I the most that I could get for is like $3,500. I'm like, all right, so if it's less than $1,000, that's worth it. That's a good buy. And then it's basically you just get to the auction, and then like a lot of people are looking for specific cars that they can resell. And like for me,
Okay.
if I know that I can fix something like from the past, then I'll jump on it because I'm like, all right, I know what it needs right from looking at it.
Mm.
So for me, it's like it's basically a car mechanic simulator, but real life. Like, yeah, I bought these two silver cars for $500 each. Spent another $50 registering them with the state and everything, and then I've only spent $100 on each of them fixing them so far.
Okay.
So I'm only in
Well,
for like $700 each on them. But now I'm at the
thank you
point where
for
like I just need to get rid of them because yeah, I got too many vehicles on the car. I got two silver cars, I got two full-size expeditions, I got a van, I got a Pathfinder, and I got my Nissan here. Yeah, so I've been playing
thank you.
I've been playing musical chairs in the driveway with the cars.
Well,
But
thank you for
luckily the ex-husband he took away the broken one that has just been sitting in the garage or in the driveway since I got here. So that was a pesky, but we got plenty of cars, but they all drive and move.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for educating me on what an used car auction and the corruption that goes on with it. I feel educated, and that's all I really want from this.
But yeah,
Is
but it's
just
a
to
good
be
place. Like I
educated.
like it. Like it's a good place to go get a car for your child. You know, something that you're not going to spend a lot of money on, and they're going to have to fix it. You know,
Okay.
like because sometimes
When I come and visit you in North Dakota, there's a couple things I got on my list that I'm gonna do. One, I got to do 1 day on the job with you so I can make my $90 and spend it on something.
you think
Two,
I'm going to
I
give you
gotta.
$100?
I, I said 90, not a
You think I'm
hundred.
going to
Come
give you
on,
90?
it's better be. I heard North Dakota's expensive, man.
All right, you're gonna
That's
have
like
to
two
shovel
packs of
some snow.
cigarettes.
Then you're gonna have to shovel some snow to make that kind of money.
Where was I going with this? No, I guess I should definitely check out this car auction with you if you're still doing that shit next year, which just sounds wild to me. This is an absolute foreign thing. I've never
I'll
ever
give you.
been
How
to an
about this?
auction before.
It's gonna be next Saturday, not this weekend, but next Saturday. I'll just give you a call when I'm at the auction, and you can
And I can hear
meet
the
up.
baby.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun. Like, I mean, for me, like, I get the heart racing. I'm like, oh shit, man, this car is only going for $300. Fuck, who's getting it? Who's getting it? And then you're like, then you get a car that you really want, and you know that it's worth the money, and then you're like, then these motherfuckers keep going up like $100, $250. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that sounds like anxiety and a heart attack.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun because like,
Hey, if you enjoy it, who am I to judge?
yeah, I'm smart
Who
enough
am
to
I to
walk
judge?
away. But yeah, man. So okay, so let's try a segment. Let's try and agree on a movie that we're gonna watch and talk about on the next episode.
Can I pick the movie?
We can vote on the movie.
I want to watch Black 47.
Black 47, what the fuck is that?
It's about the potato famine that happened in Ireland. I thought it would be a horror film because of
Okay.
all the starvation and the torture and all that, but I was told that it's technically a western. But that's the one I want to. That's the movie we should talk about because that is a very, very important story in the history of everything. That story goes about Australian history, American history, because the famine pushed all those Irish people into all these other countries, which is what made, for instance, America what it is. Shit, we even got a movie called Gangs in New York, and it's about Irish people that ran away from the famine and then started killing each other in the streets of New York.
Oh, it's free on the Roku channel.
But Black 47 is a very sick movie about the potato famine, and it's in my history world. So if you want to talk about a movie, that would be my direction to go.
2018, an hour and a half. That's not too long. Action Western. It's got a 78% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Hmm. Okay.
It's a very fucked up, sad movie, but it's intense, and you can't look away even though you want to.
Okay. All right. So I
Also,
watched Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a badass movie.
I've gone through half of it. I keep stopping and doing other things because I don't like Wolverine being the bad guy in this situation. I don't know. I'm not. I don't like this. He's a retard, and that's not how I know Wolverine.
What? What do
They
you
when
mean?
he went. Are we really allowed to talk about Marvel like this? What if people haven't seen the movie?
What? You're just talking about an overall generalization of the movie. You're not talking about
Okay, but like
specifically.
with the quantum realm, where he had to
Spoiler
go
alert.
find a new. See, I don't want to. This, fine. Spoiler alerts. When he had to go into the quantum realm and find some kind of replacement for Wolverine, and he picked that piece of shit. I haven't made it through the whole movie because I can't get past that part. That I don't like that at all.
Okay,
Uh
I
oh.
guess so. I guess so. Like, I mean, but I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good
Not to
Deadpool movie.
not to switch topics on this, but I didn't like the newest Thor movie either. I thought that was a
I
bunch of garbage too.
I stopped following Thor after like the second movie.
Ah,
Like, I mean, I
I
watched the
watch all the
Avenger
Marvel.
movies.
I'm a huge Marvel fan. I think it's because as a child I was a huge Star Wars fan, and this feels like it's in the family. And
Uh-huh.
I've watched them all, but I think
They just need to
after
start
this,
numbering them like comic book issues. Like, fuck with all these goddamn names. Just say Thor 1, Thor 2, Thor 3.
yeah, but like with Endgame a couple years back with Iron Man dying, that was heartbreak. That was heartbreaking. I cried over a fictional character dying because he saved the world. I'm gonna cry again. Oh my god! But then after those
Jose.
movies, they got after that the movies, with the exception of the Spider-Man movie, they all got lame.
I wouldn't say that. I like the new Spider-Man. I like Tom Holland.
I I love Tom Holland. That was good, but everything else, the Thor movie sucked. That Marvel movie sucked. The other one that I can't think of sucked.
Ant-Man.
Ant Man was funny.
Yeah.
He's just not. He's not. He's not the one I want. I want Hulk. Give me Hulk. I understand Hulk. Okay.
I don't know.
He said,
I think we need to make Eddie Murphy a Marvel or an Avenger before he gets too old. What do you think about that shit?
um, I don't know. What would
I
he
don't know.
be? What kind of character? Would he be the bad guy? Would he be the
Eddie
good
Mer
guy? Would it be?
Yeah, he could be a good bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. He could be both somehow. I don't know.
Huh.
But
Somebody should work on that.
that's the movie I would like to talk with you about.
Okay.
I know way too much about the potato famine that I should know, especially for someone that's not Irish and think it's a little weird. The guy at the bar told me, he's like, you know a lot about a country that you don't belong to. And I was like, I know, man, I do
Ah,
that.
right? It's called appreciation, not appropriation.
Oh, God.
But no, man, I hear you. I hear you. Fuck, this has been a great episode, man. Fuck. But
I'm not going to lie. I was unsure prior to this if I was going to be motivated, if I really wanted to continue down this path. And I do. I
yeah.
do. I love
It's
this
official,
podcast.
guys. He's
I
married
love
to
this
the podcast.
podcast. Fuck you, man. This wasn't the easy. It wasn't easy to find time for this, which means that this kind of went down my list of priorities. And I apologize if I hurt your feelings for putting our podcast down my list of priorities. But we're doing it again. This felt great. I feel good. Thank you. But we're done now. I got to get back to life.
Are
I
we
got shit
done?
I got to do.
Are we
And we're
done?
going to, it's been an hour, hasn't it?
N- we got 5 minutes.
We're good, man. We gave the people what they want. I hope you enjoyed our shit, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what we give you, world class shit. Look at you. You're so happy. You're so giggity. Oh my
That was a
God.
stupid sound effect. I need to get a sound effect board.
Mur, mur, mur.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be my next piece of equipment. I
Yeah,
got me
but
a fancy recording sign on the door. I got me the boom mic. We got cameras going.
I'm gonna have to play the devil advocate in this situation. I think if you do it too much, all we're gonna do is talk about that stupid fucking sound effect machine that you got, and then we're wasting our people's time. So think twice before
No,
you get that.
no. Yes, it'll be probably the we'll probably overuse it for like maybe 2 episodes, and then it'll just blend in, and it'll be another tool in our repertoire to bring better content and make it funnier.
So are we going to watch this? Are we going to watch this movie together, or are you going to watch it and I'm going to watch it and we talk about it in a week?
You're the second option. Because
Okay.
I could barely get your ass for an hour to record a podcast. You think I'm gonna get you an extra 2 hours to watch a movie simultaneously?
But I want to watch the movie.
Well, then watch the movie. Don't tell me about it, and we'll talk about it next week.
Fine. Then that's what we're going to do.
All right, sounds like a plan. Let's sign off on here. Thank you all for listening. We will see you on the next episode.
Love you, Rodney. We'll see you later.
Love you too, Craig. We'll see you later. All right, guys. Thank you for enjoying another episode of Two Dumb Dogs. Well, at least I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, I'm sure you did. Or if you got something to say, leave it down in the comments. Greg and I really appreciate the listenership that's going on, and being able to do this project just means a lot to us. A lot of people say we couldn't do this without you. I'm not gonna shit you. This is not the fact, because we are definitely doing this without you, and we will still be here when you're gone. But while you're here, thank you for sticking around, and we hope to hear from you in the comments or drop us a message. You can reach us at Spotify at / Two Dumb Dogs Podcast, or you can find us on YouTube as well as Two Dumb Dog Podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you on the next installment.